So just give me the count.
We are live. Hello!
Hello!
Yes.
Yes, I am not muted. Happy days.
Oh, we can actually start without
But-
having to rewind.
Yeah, no, I do just need to close this bit though, because the sun is being a pain in the arse.
Gosh damn that sun. Right, everybody.
That sounds awful. My bad. Right.
We are ready to go. Right, welcome to the Virtualy Rek't podcast. I am Mac In VR, and the bearded god sat opposite me is Shoeey from PowerOnVR. How are you, my friend?
I am feeling grand.
Good.
Feeling grand. How are you doing, Mac?
I've had 10 days off and it's been absolutely wonderful because I haven't thought about VR and I haven't, well, apart from playing World of Mechs while I was away, much to my wife's annoyance. But I've had a lovely 10 days off, 7 days in the Yorkshire Dales to recharge the batteries. It's been lovely. But the most important thing, what are you drinking?
I don't have two to choose from this time. I only have the one because I got a single thing. And of course it's green, same with every time I grab them. So I'm on a Brewdog Planet Pale Ale for the entire night.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I drank, for some reason, where we were staying, the Beavertown neck oil was basically available in all the pubs. So I drank a lot of that. That is marvellous. What a lovely drink. So I'm having to... because since I retired, I haven't been following my diet very strictly, so I've put on a little bit of weight. So I am drinking diet tonic water.
Just diet tonic water.
Oh.
There must be something inside the diet tonic water, surely.
I've had a bottle of this in the freezer all day, so it's lovely and thick and gloopy. Can you see that? It's lovely.
Oh, I do like a frozen cold vodka.
Yeah. So, cheers everybody. Get a beer and join in.
I was going to say, we're here for beer and VR. That's pretty much our jam.
Which that's what we should have called the podcast, Beer and VR.
The thing is there is actually a channel already called
Beer and
Headshots.
Headshots, yes.
Beer and
Yes.
Headshots, and they are a VR channel. So
Go and subscribe.
Yeah, go subscribe to them. Like I watch them on TikTok all the time.
Yeah, he's a really good lad.
It's great stuff.
Right, we have Space Denizen in the chat. We have Paradise Decay in the chat. So we've got a packed show for you today because there's been a lot happened in the last 2 weeks. So it should be good. We've got a lot of games to talk about.
Oh yeah, we've got tons of games to talk about. We've got a little bit of hardware, but nearly everything we're talking about today is either software or moving away and talking partly about the sort of content creator side of things.
Yes.
Which I know we do quite regularly, but today there is a very specific topic that we want to cover. But before that, we have one very specific game that we are going to start off with. I have not tried this, but obviously Mac has. If anyone was going to try this game, it is most certainly him. So Mac, what is that game?
Right, I'm a massive Formula One fan. And the only way you can currently get your real Formula One kicks is in Automobilista 2. They have the latest generation Formula One cars, obviously not branded. And they're really good. So F1 22 released on the 1st of July with full VR support out of the box, which is the first time that's happened. So this is a Codemasters game. Codemasters have now been bought by EA, which you can spot straight away because the first thing they do is try and get you involved in this thing called F1 Life, where you buy shit for your apartment and outfits for your driver. Not interested. I'm only interested
Why full outfits? Like, can you see any more than just the gloves? Because like, I've watched some gameplay of this, and all I can seem to see is the gloves and the car, obviously.
Well, Codemasters have introduced this thing called F1 Life, where basically, do you know like in Grand Theft Auto 5 where you had your apartment and you could put different things in your apartment, and you could dress your avatar up in different. It's basically that for Formula One. There are supercars there. There's like an Aston Martin and a big Mercedes AMG thing. You can buy them. You can park them in your garage. You can change your apartment, hang art. You can change the look of your avatar when you're not driving. Not interested. There's been a lot.
Question.
Yeah.
Before you move on, just staying in the realms of bullshit skins, right? Just throwing that out there nice and early. When it comes to these skins, is the VR side of the F1 game, is it multiplayer or is it single player?
I can't answer that question, and you will see why in a minute. So basically, I have a Thrustmaster TX wheel. I have the T3PA pedals. I've got a GT Omega seat. I mean, it's quite an old setup, but you know, it works really well. So unless somebody from Fanatec is watching and wants to send me one of their new DDR wheels, it's what I'm stuck with. So when they say there's full VR integration into F1 2022, that isn't strictly true. You need a keyboard or a joypad just to get to the bit where you get into the car. So
that's not ideal.
It is not ideal, because what I like about like Project Cars 2, and probably Project Cars 3, and specifically Automobilista 2, they have this amazing thing called gaze control, where you basically just look at the menu, there's a little icon appears, and it flashes, and then it like clicks for you. So you don't have to take your headset off, you don't have to take your hands off the steering wheel, you literally just look around the screen. Right, I want to do a time trial, pick your car, pick the circuit, and you can do it all with a gaze gesture. So with F1 22, you have to have a keyboard or a joystick with you, and that's how you navigate. So you've got your VR headset on, and the keyboard, you keep having to do this with the keyboard. You've got a Bluetooth keyboard on your lap, and you navigate with the keyboard. Once you get into the car, you can have the controls are all there. You know, you can have your pit lane limiter, you can have your, you know, all those things, the DRS. They can all be on buttons on the steering wheel. So you go into the menu, you go to controls, you go to your wheel and pedal setup, and there was the sense that I had a Thrustmaster, so I had to just tick the one which was mine. The sense that I had pedals, so I had to tick the one that was mine. And it doesn't work. So you then have to go into Control Edit, and you have to manually configure turn left, turn right, accelerate, brake, clutch, right?
This is all sounding very 2017.
Oh my God, I was so annoyed. And then I got into the car and I was extremely excited because, you know, they take you to Bahrain first, I think, and I like Bahrain circuit. So I'm sat in I think I picked the Alpine. I picked the Alpine just because. Sat in my car, pit crew all around me. I was dead excited. Right, let's go for a qualifying lap. And the screen blacks, and you appear in your car, and you're in a Formula One car with the halo above you, and you're like, wow, great. And then I realised that my arms were crossed on the steering wheel. And I was like, oh, that's not right. And it goes beep, 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 puts you straight into the car, and I went, did a 90-degree turn and just smashed into the barrier, and my accelerator was full on, and I was like, right, okay, I didn't have my foot on the accelerator, pressed the brake, that didn't do anything, pressed the accelerator, that didn't do anything. So I thought, all right, okay, fiddled around with things, went specifically to do a time trial in Silverstone so I could sort everything out. So I've got this footage of me in Silverstone just spinning round on the grass because my arms were crossed over and the accelerator was full on. And it's just like going round and round and round. Then I got disqualified. So I got home on the Friday. This was the Saturday morning. I was going to spend the whole Saturday, Sunday racing the car, making some content, dead excited. couldn't even get out of like a time trial or qualifying. Just crossed arms. Nothing I could do about it.
So, couple of questions then.
Yeah.
First of all, have you tried playing it in non-VR with your steering wheel setup? I know that's a bit awkward because I've seen how your sim rig is designed, but have you tried it like that?
No, I haven't, because basically I wasted a day and a half trying to get the VR to work and then just gave up.
This was the other thing, and I already know the answer to this, but let's ask it anyway because it feels like the sort of thing that needs to be asked. Are you happy that you just spent 70 quid on a game? Oh, he's put his finger up.
I didn't spend 70 quid on the game because if you are... Oh, hey, MoBeast is here. If you are if you're an EA Play member, you get 10 hours of free access before you buy the game.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So luckily...
Here's the question. Are you going to buy it?
In its current state, absolutely not. It doesn't work. I'm not going to spend 70 quid on something that just doesn't work. And why is it 70 quid? Why is it 70 quid? That's a crazy price.
I imagine it is £70 because of all of the stickers that they have to spend out on, basically.
Yeah, the
so
advertising.
You've got like your Alpine Star kit, you've got all the different vehicles. They're going to have to pay Ferrari and Mercedes. Yeah. I don't know F1, so I am literally pulling these names out of my arse.
Yeah. I think Surgical's in the chat. I think Surgical's just made a good point. I don't think they could sell the game on PlayStation 5 for 70 quid and then sell it on Steam for not 70 quid, because then the PS guys would be up in arms. But this is like going a little bit off track here, but I'm quite excited about PSVR 2. We are going to talk about PSVR 2 later on. If the frigging games cost 70 quid a pop, 60, 70 quid a pop, you know, for the VR stuff, that's going to put me off. That is really going to put me off. Because I'm used to paying...
Hey, Henry. How's it going, my guy?
Hey, Henry Van Leers. How you doing, mate? Right, let's see. Paradise Equate. I think I can get my steering wheel to work. Someone told me how to make it work. I had to have Logitech G Hub installed. Yeah, I've got Logitech G Hub installed. And this was the thing, Paradise. All the way through my testing, I had the Logitech G Hub up on the screen and everything was working. Everything was calibrated. The pedals were working. The steering wheel was working. But it just wasn't working in the game, which makes me think that the game isn't optimized. And it just... I mean, I know people who've got DDR wheels, like Fanatec, good, high-quality stuff. And that didn't work either. So, yeah, wait until it gets patched. I've probably only had about 3 hours of my free 10 hours. I'll wait till it gets patched. I'll try it again. No. And it doesn't run very well either. While I was spinning round the grass at Silverstone, it was jittering. So
that's pretty gutting.
It is. It's yeah. Right. So the thing as well is that nobody's actually. Some of the people who did preview videos on it, they didn't say that they had trouble getting it running. They were just like, "Oh, this is fantastic! Look at it; it looks gorgeous." You've had early access to the game, and you're not telling the truth, and I find that really annoying.
Here's the thing. I feel like if they had early access to the game, they probably also had access to the developers to actually explain. Like, you know this as a creator. All of the creators know that have had it. They usually get a quick start pack of like how to get this running. If you're going to be running this in VR, there'll be a paragraph that's like, make sure X, Y, and Z. And
it's turned down. Yeah,
exactly. So. Yeah, I reckon that's probably why. And without going into it too much, I imagine quite a few of them, because they're being given early access from, let's face it, like EA as a company, you probably want to keep your friendship intact with them. I know that you look.
Yeah,
I'll say this. I'll say this now, right? Mac is genuinely one of the most. What's the correct word of saying this?
Dementia.
He doesn't take bullshit. He doesn't take bullshit and he doesn't lie to people, especially when it comes to his content creation. Everything is genuine. Genuine is the word I'm looking for. So I would imagine if Matt got early access to this and it was bollocks, he would say it was bollocks.
Yeah. And that would be the end of my relationship with EA. So, I mean, I've said this all the time on my channel. For me, it's like, it's value for money. If you spend £20 on a game and it's rubbish, then that's £20 wasted. If you spend like £20 on Population 1, which you've put hundreds of hours into, that is really good value for money. You know, World of Mechs came out at £20, and I've been playing it non-stop. I must put 10, 15 hours in a week. It's just brilliant. If I pay
I really need to get on that game. I still have yet to play it.
Weeble's just got it. Weeble's just put on there the Yorkshire War Cry. How much? But if I spent 70 quid on a game that didn't work, that I couldn't get to physically work, not I didn't enjoy it or the content was crap, but I physically couldn't get it to work. Yeah, actually, Weeble's just said there, World of Mechs was only 15 quid. That is a bargain. It is a bargain. Such a good game. Yeah, so F1 2022, it's a big no from me until they patch it, I'm afraid. It's a shame.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Yeah. So, Henry, I don't imagine they got paid for it, my man. I imagine that when you're getting access to a 70 quid game from EA, I think that's probably payment enough because, like, this was a big game. There is a lot of people that want to experience F1 2022. And the fact that they got early access to it for VR or for not VR, that's just worth its money. Yeah. Its weight in gold for just for the clicks and the views. Hey, from the clicks, how's it going, my guy?
Hey, Clickster, how you doing, mate?
There is one thing, Mac. I know we wrote our list of what we're going over tonight, but just before we dive into the next item, there was something I wanted to talk about. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is that last week, I decided to do something in VR that I have been meaning to do for a while. And...
doesn't involve your teledildonics, does it?
It does not. It does, however, it does involve the use of robotics. I finally sat down and played Lone Echo.
Oh, yes!
And it was fucking mind-blowing. Like, I've not even finished the first one yet. Like, I am still doing shit, and I am seriously blown away by this thing. Like, it looks like if it was made now, I'd be like, yeah, this game looks amazing.
Yeah. It's 6 years old.
And it still looks fantastic.
Yeah, the character model for Liv, the character model for Jack, it's just amazing. Such a good game.
The way that you move around in the zero gravity,
I was going to say,
it feels fantastic. The voice acting is amazing. The way it deals with communication is done really well. It doesn't need to be anything more or less than that. Yeah. Like, on the whole, I'm really, really happy with it. So yeah, like, it's been a while. I should have played it way before now, after the amount of good things that you've said about it. But yeah, I finally got around to playing it, and I will be finishing it, and I will definitely be purchasing number 2.
Yeah, number two is a slightly different beast because it's better written, and it's more about the interaction between Jack and Liv, because in the first one, Liv is away at certain points, and it's basically you're concentrating on Jack. But in the second one, it's more about the interaction between Jack and Liv, and you can see the emotion and the bond they have. It's really good. There's another character in Lone Echo 2, which I won't talk about, but he's voiced by a very famous actor, and his character's really good as well. And it's basically them three. It's a better story. It's a more adult story. It's very good. Yeah, but like I said, the way you move in zero gravity, and once you get used to the momentum and the using your wrist rockets to just make small adjustments, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, no, See, the wrist rockets were actually the thing that really bothered me. Although I liked the fact that it was really slow movement. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
But right, sorry, I'm just putting up the trailer on the thing while I talk. Yeah, no, the wrist rockets I thought were a little bit slow, and I understand why they did that because you don't you don't necessarily want to be zipping around. You actually want to feel like it's a movement thing.
Yeah.
But what I did really love was the way that they gave you added, let's call them like powers.
Yeah.
If we were talking about other games, like the fact that you've got like the scanner and the blowtorch.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Like the blowtorch, the way it works is really really simple.
Yeah.
And it's a bit too obvious. I would have liked to have seen, like, considering how good the game looks,
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen like melted edges
Yeah.
around some things, but like it works. This is the thing, is they've made it work really well. So I feel if they went too far into that, it may have made it slightly clunky. So I get it, but at the same time, I guess I'm just looking for reasons to give it some sort of negativity because the rest of it is just so damn good.
Well, as well, what I liked was with the holographic wrist controls where you just basically tapped and it was all on a holograph, and that was so good.
The thing where you just like you scan it and then you pull the information as a thing out of your arm, and it just stays in space. And like if you throw it away, it disappears. But like it acts as a mix between a hologram and a physical object all at the same time.
Yeah, it's absolutely
and that's
brilliant.
It's just so cool.
It is.
It's just so cool.
So if you haven't played Lone Echo, go and play it. So I'm just going to check my chat.
If you've got access to PC VR, 100%, it is definitely worthwhile.
I have Obscure Nerds here. Hello, Obscure. Bubba the Hut is here, and Doomsly. How you doing, Doomsly? Doomsly says Valheim with the VR mods is amazing. Yeah, I've heard that. I've never played it actually. Strangely.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just seen Serge's comment in my chat. He's like, "Shh, don't tell Mac I'm here." He hits me. Amazing.
I don't hit him. I just keep him in line.
Just a slight flick to the gooch. It's
right on the pouch. Oop.
I apologise, by the way, for this light coming in on my camera. The sun is in like the perfect place to piss me off right now. And mind out, dog. Go on, disappear.
And
now the dog's getting in my. Hang on, I'm just going to fix my camera.
Got to remember that Shoeey actually, his studio is actually in his conservatory. So when the summer comes, he's just going to be a big sweaty heap.
I'm already a sweaty heap. Like I've been playing the next game we're going to talk about, actually.
Oh, excellent! Yes, which I have not played.
No. The thing is, the next game is a game called Stride. If you haven't played Stride, Stride is essentially the closest thing we have to Mirror's Edge in VR. There's lots of white, there's lots of contrasting black, and the rest of it is yellows, blues, and greens and reds. So everything contrasts really nicely. It's all very, very clean. And the important thing about this game is that it's parkour. If you didn't play Mirror's Edge, the whole game was designed with a really cool story, but the story was cool but basic. But the main thing is that you were actually playing a parkour game. There was very little shooting. It was more about the actual movement and wall running and getting through things and sliding down things. And you played Mirror's Edge, Mac. You said you really enjoyed it.
I did. It's one of those games where it's all about momentum. So you're constantly looking in front of you to see, right, I can wall run there, and then I can jump across there, and I can get that ledge, and I can run and slide underneath that air conditioning duct, and then I can jump, wall. It's just because if you stop, the game stops, doesn't it? And you're like, oh shit. So it's all about that momentum. So yeah, from watching the trailers of Stride, I was basically, oh, that's just Mirror's Edge. But stupidly, I've never got round to playing it. But you said now is a good time to get involved.
Now is a very good time. Like, I hadn't played it in a few months, and they'd done an update not long after I stopped playing it, I think, which made it a lot better. And so a few days ago, I picked it back up, and I had a go, and I was like, oh, they've really made some big improvements on this.
Yeah.
Especially with the arena mode. But then a new DLC dropped just today, and so I spent a good majority of my afternoon going through it and playing. I was about to say Mirror's Edge, playing Stride again today, and their Guns and Drones update. If you've played it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. There is an arena mode where you're essentially on a bunch of building tops, and you have missions to go and complete. And try and survive as long as you can, completing the missions within the time. And those missions can be fetching items, or like running from place to place as fast as you can, or using your gun to actually take out a small group of enemies. And that's pretty cool. Like, it makes you really feel like a badass. And when I came back a few days ago, I'd noticed that they'd added a lot of glass, and they'd added like insides offices to buildings where you can actually sort of jump through the glass, run through the office, and then jump out the other side onto another set. And that was really cool. But what they've added today is not only have they added more missions, so they've added this really sort of cool drone attack mission where you have to actually take down a load of drones. They've added this one where there's a sort of a zipline mechanic on certain parts of the map. So it sort of, there are certain places where you kind of feel a bit like Spider-Man, which is pretty cool. But they've actually added a mission now where you have a drone and you have to try and catch it, and it moves really quickly, and actually grapple onto that drone. But they've also added a myriad of guns. So you're not just using a single pistol anymore. You're now using either a sawn-off double-barreled shotgun or what I think is an Uzi. And that's, you know, that's really cool that even after, I think this game's been out since March 2021. Like, they're still adding to this. Joyway are still putting in effort. Yes, we don't actually have the story mode that they promised yet, but it's gonna come. Like, if they're still producing stuff like this, I can't see why there won't be a story. And at that point, we will truly have the Mirror's Edge that we've been wanting in VR. Yeah. And here's the important thing for me, at least. Probably more than just the fun level of this. It genuinely, because in order to move around quickly in this, you have to sort of move your arms, and in a lot of games that feels a bit too gimmicky. Yeah. But in this, you're actually trying to run along rooftops. So that feels great. But in order to jump, you then have to hold the A button and swing your arms up like you would do in a parkour scenario.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the whole thing really does immerse you. Like, even when you're trying to slide, you have to actually sort of duck down, and that feels really awkward in a lot of games. Once again, in this one, it really doesn't. It feels sublime. So if you want something that is going to be sort of not quite to like the Les Mills level of fitness, but still a fitness game that genuinely feels fun and not like you're trying to run a marathon, then yeah, Stride is certainly worth it. It's available on PC VR and it's available on Quest 2. Obviously, it's going to look a lot better on PC VR. But from what I've seen of the Quest 2 version, it doesn't look too bad.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've that's on my list. Yeah, I remember when it first launched, everybody said, "Oh, it's." Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis reviewed it, and he said it's a bit bare bones, but the movement is really, really good and really, really smooth. Yeah, so there you go. That's on the list then.
Yeah, 100%. Well worth it, I would say, on that one.
Okay. So before we go to our next subject, I want to give a shout out to Paradise Decay, who is actually in the chat. I didn't know this, but Paradise Decay is a bit of a musician. And he has a brand new album out called AI, and you can get access to it on Bandcamp. And if you look at my latest video, which came out 6 o'clock today, there is actually a link in the description to the album on Bandcamp. So go and have a listen, go and have a buy, support your local musician.
Yeah, see, I didn't actually know about this until about 40 minutes before the podcast started, because I really should have gotten and actually had a listen But yeah, no, that's what I'll be doing after the podcast is finished. So yeah, go support PD. He's a great guy. I'm absolutely certain he's a great musician.
Yeah.
So, yeah, awesome stuff.
I've got it on my phone, but I haven't listened to it yet, Paradise. Sorry, I was really busy trying to get me bloody news video out today. Right, so, yep, that's a shout out for Paradise. Cheers, mate.
Happy days. Tick that off the list. So, next up then, we are going to be talking probably one of our few bits of hardware for tonight, actually.
Yes.
Which, of course, the only real news that we've had in hardware over the past 2 weeks. Am I wrong in that? I think I'm right in that.
Yes, you are right. Hold on, I'm just trying to... Okay, so my viewers are going to see, hopefully... Right, this picture that's up on the screen right now, it's the picture of the PSVR 2 in a chair. Yep. Somebody's just casually taken a photograph of it. So that to me looks like a full retail version, like that's the version that the consumers are going to get their hands on. Have we actually seen the headset? I know they've revealed the controllers.
We've seen pictures of the headset. Like we've seen a full render, like the sort of thing that they're going to use in their research and marketing.
Yeah,
but we haven't seen an in the wild shiny version, if you want.
Yeah, the actual So there is some speculation that this is a deep fake.
Yes.
Which is fair enough. You know, that could be a combination of pictures photoshopped. Some people are saying, "Oh my god, the headset looks tiny. The chair is massive. The scale isn't right."
I'm not certain that that's the case.
No, I'm not certain that's the case.
I'm looking at it like that looks like a pretty sizable like office chair.
Yeah.
It's not like a bucket seat like I'm sitting in. So yeah, it's a fairly flat surface. I could see that being that could be fine to me, I think.
Yeah. Do we know whether the PSVR 2 has Pancake lenses or is it using Fresnel lenses? Do we know that? Or has that not been revealed?
I think it's... I don't know, actually. I'm not going to... While you're talking about it, I'm going to have a look. But I don't... Like, looking at the size of the front of that...
Yeah.
I would say that it doesn't have Fresnel lenses because... Am I right in thinking that they made it so that the lens can move further and closer to you?
I've no experience of PSVR. I have to put my hands up there.
Let's have a quick Google.
Yeah, have a quick Google. So we'll speculate. If it has Pancake lenses, then the headset would look right because it will be small form factor. If it has Fresnel lenses, then the headset doesn't quite look right. But those controllers, man, every time I see them, I'm just like, oh, I want to go and pat the person who designed them on the head and say, well done, designer person. So
we know it has OLED displays.
Yeah, we know it has eye tracking.
We know it has eye tracking. We know it's 90 or 120 hertz. We know it's 2000 by 2040 per eye. Field of view 110. I can't see. Let's just literally type in lenses. And see what we get.
I tell you what, if that thing is compatible with PC, that's going to be amazing.
I can't see anything. If anyone finds anything, let us know down in the chat. But I can't see anything about the actual lenses. So yeah, if you guys find it, let us know. But I can't see anything to do with whether it's using Pancake lenses or not off the top of my head.
Surjical Gaming said this is fake. They would have sent me one by now. Because not only is a Murmur Index wanker, he's also a PS5 wanker now. And he's been.
You were an Index wanker until recently.
I was. I'm now a Pico Neo wanker, a Nurna Neo wanker. Yeah, Surgical's been cheating on us by playing flat screen games on his PlayStation 5. Yeah, Weeble says Fresnel lenses.
Yeah, I think what I've just found says Fresnel lenses. Uh,
Oh, is it Fresnel? I've been saying Fresnel fucking lenses for about the last
I
two
mean,
years.
I've just read the word. It's Fresnel.
Ah, the S must be
I was
silent.
calling them Fresnel, but then it is a French name, so it's possible that it is meant to be pronounced Fresnel.
Okay. We shall have to ask our experts at ProTube, who are our lovely French people.
Yeah, but either way, I don't know the exact answer. From what I've just read, it's possible that it is a Fresnel lens. Um, and if so, that looks relatively small for
Yeah,
that,
it
I
does.
guess.
One thing we do know is that Tobii, who are a company that does eye tracking for the Vario Aero and also does eye tracking modules for HTC, they've signed a contract with PlayStation to provide the eye tracking solution. And that is very interesting because, as we have spoken about on this podcast many, many times, eye tracking and foveated rendering means you basically more than half your GPU headroom, which means that you can. So again, we do this again every single time. Foveated rendering means that it works like your eye. You only render at the highest possible quality where the person is looking, and the rest of it is kind of blurred out a little bit, which means that you can concentrate all of your processing power on that spot where the person is looking using the eye tracking, and that reduces your GPU overhead. So even relatively low end hardware, and I'm not saying the PSVR 2 is low end because it isn't, will be able to display probably above what you would expect. So with the power of the PSVR, with the power of the PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2 with eye tracking, something like what's that game they keep pushing? It's gone out of my head. The Call of the Wild, the one with the big giant dinosaur robots.
Oh, Horizon Zero
Horizons,
Dawn.
yeah, Horizon. I mean that looks incredible. And apparently it's a game. It's not an experience. It has multiple paths. There are lots and lots of different ways you can approach the scenario. So it's
Interesting.
Yeah, tempered excitement.
See, this is the thing: is with them using eye tracking and foveated rendering. The thing that really interests me is that they're going to be able to actually be pushing ahead with Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that we're seeing come out of that, even user created content coming out of that, is just mind blowing.
I talked about this in one of my news videos. I think it was a train station in Japan, and I showed my wife. I said, "This is Daimochi train station in Japan," and she was like, "All right." She says, "Oh, is somebody filming it on their phone?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, we'll say that." And then it went dark, and the guy got the torch up. She was like, "Oh, how'd they do that?" I was like, "That is a video game, right?" She was like, "No." That's how good it was. She was fooled. I mean, I was fooled when I first saw it.
That is, I mean,
incredible.
that's the beginning of the visual touring test, isn't it?
It is. Speaking of visual touring tests, this high dynamic range and display brightness was the one thing that Mark Zuckerberg was talking about to pass the visual touring test, and that's not what I expected. I thought it was going to be like DPI, like the Retina screens. I thought that was going to be the most important thing, but what he actually said was it's brightness. The human eye adjusts obviously naturally, and the screens in VR aren't bright enough. And if you get HDR and these really, really bright displays, and then you will be able to pass the Turing test.
Because the
visual
Turing
Turing
Quest
test
at the moment is between 100 and 200, isn't it? 100 and 200 nits.
Yeah.
To give an idea of the difference between that and your TV is between 1,000 and 2,000 nits.
Yeah.
So that's how low the HDR is on the Quest 2. I did a video about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And what they were looking at with Project, was it Project Sundome? No. Which project was
Layer
it?
Cake or some shit like that. It wasn't it? It was...
Yeah, it was. They had all sorts of weird names, but Starburst. It was Project Starburst. And this thing was huge, and it
Yeah.
had this massive, like, I think it was about that wide by about that attached to the front of it, and that was just a heatsink for the bulbs that they were using. But they
Bloody
were
hell.
trying to hit 20,000 nits. Now, to give you an idea of what that actually means, if you were to look up at an LED lamp, for instance, that's
Okay.
probably putting out about 11,000 nits. So the fact that this can go further than that, and actually sort of as you swing round on a cliff edge, you can actually see the sunset, and it actually does make you kind of like just a little bit, just sort of like, ooh. It's not there to burn your eyes out. It's not there to like melt your retinas from the
Yeah.
inside. It's trying to give you realism.
Yeah. So Weebles just made a good point there. He said, and I, of course, I don't have an experience with PSVR, and he said that Sony seems to have a way of getting round the problem of God rays with Fresnel lenses. So, well, there you go.
Okay.
Thanks, Weeble.
Interesting.
Weeble is my roving
All right.
reporter.
Yeah. So
Excited or not? Have you got a PS5 or not?
no, here's the thing, right? Is someone that works with me, they turned around and said to me the other day that they haven't touched their PS5 in a year. And so I am currently in the process of persuading them to sell it to me.
Yeah. They came into stock on Game, and Surjical actually contacted me and said PS5s are available in Game. So I went to Game, and it was the disc version, which I don't want, and there was 2 games included, which I didn't want, and there was £100 voucher included, which I didn't want, and it was £650.
Jesus.
If it had just been the digital edition, the 350 quid, I'd have bought it straight away. I'd have bought it and put it to one side, just so I had it for when PSVR 2 comes out. But I'm not.
I mean, I will buy one at that price and just leave it in the box until it comes out. You know?
Yeah. I don't need it now. I'm not going to go back to PSVR. I just want to have it so that when PSVR 2 comes out, I can put my pre-order in on day one, get it on the day it comes out, and see how good this thing is going to be. But I'm not paying £650. Anyway.
No.
Ooh,
I have a
excuse me.
question actually, and it's one that only PD is going to be able to answer. I feel because he's our resident turn things into like will it VR expert, I guess.
Oh, a Vorpex
Here's a question.
expert.
Yeah. So I don't know how Vorpex works. I've not tried to play with it. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, PD. Or no, tell me if this is possible. Could you, ignoring the latency issue, could you grab a PS5? Oh, he's put the eyes. Could you grab a PS5 and run a capture card into your PC and then Vorpex the image you see into a headset currently? Is that a possibility? Ignoring the latency issue.
If you look on the the Steam do the attached headsets in VR,
Yeah.
it's something like 0.5% of attached headsets in Steam VR are actually PSVR. So it can be attached to a PC. So if you can attach it to a PC, you probably can Vorpex it. And we're just waiting for Paradise, and he's just going to go,
Which is a completely valid answer, PD. If that is your answer, I will take it. But I just suddenly thought, like, if all Vorpex is doing is modifying the output image and not actually modifying any of the game files necessarily, then I can't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to Vorpex something on Xbox, for instance, which
PD
doesn't
said,
care about VR.
Yeah, I know. Paradise Decay said, I think only if the game has a stereoscopic mode on PS5. Right. Okay.
So what you're telling me is that I need to create a stereoscopic mode when I run it through a capture card on my PC.
Vorpex would need to install itself on PS5.
Okay. So how does... Okay, I'm going to ask this question and then we're going to move on because otherwise it's too much of a lag, I think. How does Vorpex actually work? Does it not work with the output image? Does it work with like behind the scenes stuff then? Because I was under the impression that it would like just take the output image, create a stereoscopic view of it, and then add a few more things in.
Vorpex injects
my
itself
impression.
into games to make them 3D in your headset.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's actually way more complicated than I thought it was.
Especially for us dummies.
Yeah, no, this is the reason why I haven't even jumped into the Vorpex side of things, because at the moment I'm still kind of feeling like, do I want to spend 2 days working out how it works, or do I just want to play Lone Echo?
Or do I just want to play World of Mechs? Paradise Decay said basically it puts 2 cameras into the game to give you a stereoscopic view. That's very clever, actually.
Yeah, that is. I like it. Okay, then. Well, I'm not going to carry on with Vorpex stuff, even though PD, I'm sure, could talk about it for literal days.
Let's talk games!
So, let's talk games. We have quite a few games that are being released over the course of July. I released a video today that specifically went over the Quest ones. Mac released a video today that included a lot of the releases as well. We are sticking, from what it looks like, to the sort of standard Oculus release schedule at the moment, which is every Thursday. And this Thursday, we actually have 3 Quest 2 games released on the same day.
We do.
Mac, you would like to talk about the first one?
I would like to talk about Runes Magus, or Ruins Magus, or however you pronounce it, because it's... I put the game on thinking, how do you pronounce Runes Magus? And I spent 15 minutes investigating how to say it. And all the time they say it in Japanese. So I don't know. I'm going to go...
Runes Magus!
Genki desu ka? Ohayou gozaimasu! That's the soul, of my Japanese. Oh, Marcus Des, that's I could say. Genki desu ka? Your name? Marcus Des. And that's about it.
Don't speak in a high-pitched voice when you say that, man. It's that's creepy as shit. Oni-chan?
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate to get early access to Runes Magus. I've played about 2 hours, and I've talked to you about it. Did we do it on the podcast last week? I can't remember. 2 weeks ago. No, I think
so.
I think we've just talked about it between us. And the thing that you were worried about was that it was going to be a JRPG that was dubbed into English, and it isn't. So what they've done very cleverly is they've kept the original Japanese, they've kept the original Japanese art style, they've kept the original Japanese voice actors, and they've just subtitled it, which is the way I wanted it to be.
That's 100% what I wanted.
As soon as it started, I was like, yep, absolutely. So it's got the crazy Japanese sort of characters, all over the top talking, but it has the subtitles, which that to me was like great. Within the first 10 minutes, I thought, yeah, I'm going to like this. You go through a tutorial. There's a skill tree. The enemies present themselves as you would expect. You go into a room, there's an enemy, they fight, but you're in VR, obviously, so you can move around, you can sprint, you can duck, you can, try and attack them from different angles. There's like magic spells, there's like grenades and stuff like that. So from what I've played, and it is limited, so I'm not going to make a final decision until I actually do my review. This is really good. There's 25 missions to start with. There may be more coming in DLC. I've been in the game for 2 to 3 hours and haven't finished the first mission yet, but that could be just because I'm crap at JRPGs. So there's a lot of content there. Obviously as you grow your skills and the enemies become more difficult and the dungeons become more complex, then it's going to take longer and longer to get through. The only criticism I have of it is single player. If it was co-op or like a 4-player, I would, and you could take your friends into the dungeons, and you could have like a medic and a mage and a sort of a rogue, then that's my one only criticism. But it is a single player game, and I think it's going to be quite an engaging game if you enjoy Japanese RPGs.
Well, in that case, colour me intrigued because that is exactly what I want. Sorry, just organising so that I can open my window, and that is a lot of movement on my mic. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I want. I want more stuff from the mainstream non-VR pancakey games moving over, more genres moving over to
Yeah.
our VR, and one of them is definitely JRPGs.
So it keeps so what it does very cleverly is it keeps it very very. It's you go into a room. The room itself is not cluttered. It's clean, so that you can put more detail into the enemy, and I think that's very clever. The interactions in the sort of the area. It's typical area where you go. Oh, I want to buy some of this. I want to buy some of that. The characters are really really stylized. I really like the style. Yeah, it's just joyous. Put a smile on my face.
Good, good. That will definitely be on my list of things to play this week.
Okay.
What else we got? We have Thief Simulator is coming to Quest 2.
Oh, sorry, it's one of my Tassos is here. Hi, Tassos. How you doing, mate?
Hey, dude. Yeah, so Thief Simulator is...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've just got to interject here.
Yeah.
Me and Weeble on our Discord, because we're of a certain age, there's a certain thing you have to do when you get over the age of 50, and it is to get your prostate tickled. And we had a bit of a conversation about this on my Discord, and I said I think my proctologist was Pat Jennings, who is a very famous goalkeeper from the 1970s who had fucking ginormous hands. And Weeble's just posted there. Sounds like Shoeey can't wait to get his Pat Jennings on.
I've got many years to go before I need to worry about getting my Pat Jennings on. Weaves. Unlike you old bastards, I've got a fair few years ahead of me before that becomes a necessity.
Sorry, right. We were talking about Patchworld, which I know nothing about. Oh, no, Thief Simulator.
No. Thief Simulator first.
Okay, yeah.
We're going over. So the Thief Simulator is coming to the Quest 2.
It is.
And this is a port of Thief Simulator VR, which is available for Steam VR. It came, as far as I'm aware, it came to quite mixed reviews.
It did. About 68% positive. When I checked up today. 58% positive.
Here's the thing: I haven't played Thief Simulator VR on Steam.
No.
So I don't know. Like from the trailer and things, it looks quite fun. But here's a game that I have played, and I played it quite recently. Was a game called The Break-In, which seems to be very similar to this,
Okay.
but a lot more sort of tongue-in-cheek.
Okay.
It's not going for a serious stealth game. Like the people are like pretty dumb, and you're breaking into their homes, and you're just taking whatever the hell you want. So this isn't like a whole load of pre-planning. This is sort of go in and you can get these weird gizmos, like you can get impact airbags that you can attach to the side of like a sofa and then throw it out the top floor window so that when it hits the floor it doesn't damage the sofa, and it sort of inflates and then bounces around. It's a bit more tongue-in-cheek, but this looks, if you're looking for something a bit more serious, then I definitely think that Thief Simulator looks good. It's definitely something we needed to come to the Quest 2. And
there's no combat. So like a lot of stealth games where things go wrong, you can just beat your way out of it. Looking at you, Hitman 3. Once you get exposed, you are arrested and that's it. So like the stealth element is very, very important.
Yeah, which I kind of like, because honestly, when you get good enough at stealth games, about half to a third of the way through the game, I just give up with the stealth because I'm good enough now that I can just go like pew 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 pew, and everyone dies, and it still gives me a stealth rating.
Yeah, as long as the person who spotted you doesn't raise the alarm.
Yeah, just make sure you cap them in the face before, the alarm gets raised or the police come, and if the police come, then shoot the car.
Yeah.
But with this, you don't get that option. So yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting include for the Quest 2 library.
I think Tom Cruise summed it up in Mission Impossible. He said, "I don't like him. He leaves too many hats on the ground."
Yep.
There you go. Mission Impossible 2.
After Thief Simulator, then we come to Patchworld, which is also released on the 7th of July. Patchworld, I haven't played. Mac hasn't played. We
No.
haven't had any um, pre-release stuff for it at all. But it does look pretty interesting. It is in the similar vein of Electronauts and Virtuoso, in that it is a music creation game. Um, it's, I mean, you can, for those of you watching my stream, you can sort of see the weird and wonderful stuff that you're going to be playing with. But the important one for this, as you might have noticed, is that it's a social game. Like, it is a bunch of you getting together and setting up your like drum set and a few different like weird and wonderful underwater sea creature looking things that move around. It honestly, it looks kind of sexual. Some of the stuff that's going on in this game.
I just
Um,
have you been watching The Boys?
yes, I am up to date on the boys.
The Deep. I think we should.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think we should,
I don't think we should go for the spoilers, but yes, if you've seen the boys, especially episode
6.
the Herogasm episode and the episode 7,
Oh,
then oh god, yeah, it's
we're not talking about The Boys. We're not talking about The Boys.
no, we're not. If the boys was in VR, that'd be absolutely phenomenal and
Diabolical.
terrifying. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this game looks pretty cool. The two interesting things about this are that yes, it is a social game, so you can have multiple friends with you in order to jam, and that's pretty cool. And the other one is that they have said that there is going to be the devs are called Patch XR. They have said that there is going to be a platform where you can actually save and upload your stuff to,
Oh, cool.
so that you can share them with other people. So yeah, if you're really into it and you've got a band possibly, maybe this is something that you could try doing in VR rather than meeting up in your mum's basement.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it looks interesting. It's just not my kind of thing because I am musically inept.
I am musically inept, but Weebles just put Deep got caught by his tentacles. Shh, no spoilers.
Can't say
Okay.
stuff like that. So the following week then.
Oh, one of the games I'm so looking forward to. I've had early access to this for quite a long time, and again, Paradise Decay helped me out here. He actually got me the update, which had the Norway and the Antarctic levels, and that is Kayak VR Mirage. So I'm not a graphics whore, but this game is possibly one of the best looking games I've ever seen in VR, because they used photogrammetry, which if you watch the podcast, you'll know what that is. It's basically you photograph something, use this technique called photogrammetry, and it makes it into a 3D environment. And you can then paddle your way through it in your little kayak. So the most incredible part about that was Norway at night in the thunderstorm, and the lighting and the way the water works was just, it was unbelievable. So that is actually coming out on the 12th of July, I believe. A full PC VR release. This is PC VR only. It's a seated experience, which makes it quite relaxing. There is like a free paddle mode where you can just go out and have a paddle. There's a competitive mode where there isn't a multiplayer mode as such. You can compete against your friends as ghosts, as far as I'm aware at the moment.
Also asynchronous.
Asynchronous, yes,
multiplayer.
that's the word. Asynchronous multiplayer. If you have PC VR and you just want to chill, and it honestly, I played the Antarctic level, and my heart rate was about 5 by the time I paddled everywhere, because you're looking at the penguins, you're looking at the seagulls. There's things happen which are just like, and I was like, I'm not going to scream the next time this happens. Next time it happens, I was like, ah! It's just so beautiful and so relaxing. It's better than the guy on Twitter is called Better Than Life. So go look up hashtag Better Than Life. Follow him. Yeah, it's a sell. It's a sell for me. I'm in.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic. I'm yet to play it, but I am almost certain this is a game I'm going to purchase, mainly because this is a game that I want to show people that aren't already in the VR space.
Yeah, and it's a great game if you think it's a great game to introduce people to VR, because there's absolutely no motion sickness. It's very, very clever what it does. It locks the horizon and everything else moves. So instead of your boat bobbing up and down, which I think would cause motion sickness,
Yeah,
the horizon is locked and everything else moves around you, which, you know, it just, it's just beautiful. Go and buy it. 12th, go and buy it. Better than life.
yeah. This is going to be a good one. The next one then is back to Quest, and that is the Twilight Zone coming out on the 14th.
3 stories, written by quite famous scriptwriters as well. You mentioned them in your video. I mentioned them in my video a couple of weeks ago, but I can't remember their names.
No, I can't remember their names off the top of my head either. I did look at their sort of back catalogues, and these are people that are well renowned for sci-fi scripting and sort of game development or production. So hopefully, like they've obviously spent the money on the people, and that's where you want the money to be spent when it comes to story and mystery. So
it is. I'm concerned that their experiences. That is the only, because there's 3 stories. Pardon my French. We don't know how long they last. I'm hoping it's not a Star Wars Galaxy's Edge kind of thing. I'm hoping it's like 3 separate, fairly decent. I mean, what would you say would be a decent story length? 25 minutes, half an hour?
Yeah, I would actually no. If this is looking, I don't think there's been a price announced for this.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair to say that it's probably going to be $29.99.
Okay.
And that's my predicted one for this. Honestly, if I look at similar games that I'm paying that much for, like Wanderer, for instance,
Into the Radius, something like that.
Into the Radius, like I know that this has got a pedigree as far as the name is concerned, and they obviously have to pay for that IP. But even so, if it's only half an hour per tale, I'm not going to be happy.
No.
An hour and a half, like that's an hour and a half for $30 just seems really, really expensive.
It's one of the reasons I didn't get involved in the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I mean, it looked great, but it was very, very heavily scripted. It didn't last particularly long. I want to play a game. I don't want to have an experience. That was one of the reasons I was worried about Horizon Zero Dawn. But now they've said it's actually a full game and there are multiple paths, then I'm a lot more relaxed about it. But I'm not sold on this one.
I just can't bring my... I genuinely think that experiences in VR should just be a free thing.
Yeah.
Charge me real money for games, and I'm happy to do that, as long as they are actual games.
Yeah. Paradise Decay...
Don't charge me for experiences.
Paradise Decay was talking about Kayak VR, and he said... I could actually hear the location of the whale under the sea and follow it. Yeah, the sound was incredible. And virtual reality checks here. Hi, right. How you doing, VRC?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, it's Twilight Zone's coming out. I hope they're going to. I really hope that they're going to do like DLC for it, like free DLC for it, if it sells well enough. And I think the IP will probably help it sell quite well. I will definitely be buying it because it looks interesting.
It does,
as you say, if it's experiences, then fuck you guys. Or fuck those guys, rather. So then we move forward another week.
Oh.
And we get to Moss Book 2.
Oh. I'm so looking forward to this. I'm so looking forward to, like, virtual reality 3D platformers work so well. So we have Astrobot, we have Lucky's Tale, and then we have the original Moss. They just work. It's just one of those things that's like weird.
There's also like an Alice in Wonderland game, isn't there? I haven't played it. I've seen it somewhere, where it's very sort of similar to Moss, and you're guiding Alice around. I think.
Was it down the Down the something.
Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, Down the Rabbit Hole rings a bell.
Oh,
yeah.
and you've also got Fisherman's Tale, which is phenomenal.
Oh, VR Realm's
that
here.
game,
Hey, VR Realm, how you doing?
Hey, VR Realm. No other platform could have ever done a Fisherman's Tale.
Nah.
Like it's just not possible. It was only possible because of VR that game even existed.
Absolutely.
Because it would have just been a run-of-the-mill indie that no one gave a shit about if they tried to make it in anything apart from VR. But because it's in VR, that game, by the way, if you haven't played that game, Fisherman's Tale,
I haven't.
Hang on, you haven't played it?
I haven't played it. No.
Oh, okay. Do you know what it is?
I do. Yeah, it's like the box within a box where you're trying to solve puzzles.
It's a house within a house within a house infinitely.
Yeah.
And the great thing is if you imagine your house right now, and right in front of you is a model of your exact house with you in it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And your house that you are in is within another house, a bigger house, right?
Yeah.
Now, that sounds cool, but here's the thing. If you need to move like a giant anchor in your home, it's going to be too heavy. But if you go into the small house and grab the tiny anchor and move that around, like it's just simple things like that. Like there may be like a place that, maybe you've got to sort of do the whole philosophy of, am I in the building? Is this the real one?
Yeah. Which one
or
am I?
Not? And it's it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's one of those games I just never had a chance to play, and I was like, it looks so cool, but it just went past me. Damn.
Yeah, no, it's not even like new. It's been away. It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
You can usually pick up Fisherman's Tale and Moss and maybe a couple of other similar things in the sales. They usually do like a bundle deal, and it's usually like £30 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say a really good price. It's one of those ones, if you've got time over Christmas, definitely worth picking up. So yeah, that's Fisherman's Tale. But what we're talking about is Moss 2, and
5 to 6 hours.
Yep.
Continuation of Moss. Yep.
Yep. Continuation of Moss. You continue with the same protagonist, our favourite little mouse, Quill.
Quill. Oh.
I love Quill. Mac loves Quill. Everyone loves Quill.
Everyone loves
There is
Quill.
no one that has ever said Quill is not the best.
It's the little scarf that gets me every time. Why would you put a scarf on a mouse? It's just he's naked.
See, this gives me very Adventure Time vibes. For those of you who know Adventure Time, which is it's a cartoon. It's not a game. But yeah, I love everything about it. There's nothing about Moss that I didn't like. There's nothing about Moss 2 I can even imagine not liking. It's already been out on PSVR for 3 months, I think.
4 months, yeah. But apparently it's quite short. But if I get 5 hours out of it, then and it's an experience, not an experience as in, Star Wars Tales. I mean, I get to experience that game. It takes me 5 hours, and I love Quill even more. And then have to buy a bloody Quill, figurine, action figurine.
Oh, that figurine is so expensive.
I know. It's like,
I desperately want one, but I don't think I'm ever going to be able to afford one.
I was like, eBay. Nope.
No, it's because the people that were sent them, there's only like 5 people in the world that were sent them that probably don't consider it to be like the greatest thing on earth.
What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make friends with Mike from VRO and then find out where he lives and go and rob his Quill off him.
Yeah, but then me and you are going to have a fight to the death to work out who gets to keep it.
With that, I'm not going to win that because you're bigger than me. Well, I'm not. I'm like 25 years older than you, and I'm about 4 inches shorter, and I'm a little bit smaller than you. Let's just say that. I'm not going to win that. A little bit. I'm not going to win that fight unless I go, oh, Shoeey, look over there.
Stab, stab, stab.
Is that a character from Bosch, and then kick her in the nuts and run away?
Oh, I thought you were going to stab me in the kidneys. If it's just a nut kick, I can probably be all right.
Okay, Jean-Claude, you just
Yep.
take that nut kick.
Okay, so we've spoken about Moss Book 2. There is another one that is out this month. Oh, Karen.
I need to take a quick comfort break while you talk about this
Yes. Okay.
because
Go for it. That's
unfortunately
fine.
I haven't had a chance to play it. I've been begging people to actually get into the beta, and apparently all I need to do is go to Discord and talk to the devs, and they give me a key. Bastard.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm doing that. I'm going to do that tomorrow. So I'm going for a
Do
quick.
it. We'll play together.
I'm going for a quick comfort break, and Shoey's going to look after you for 2 minutes.
Well, look after is a strong word, but yeah.
Deviate you.
So
Right, back in a sec.
Yep. So Vale, I've been interested in Vale for about 6 months now, and there was just this weird thing that came up, and I wasn't sure if this game was actually going to be any good or what they were doing with it, but they did say that if you come into the Discord and ask for a key, then they'll give you a key. And there was almost no one playing it because there was so few people that actually had access, and then there was even less people playing it for me because I was in the UK. And unfortunately, you just never get any kind of you just never meet people online in low server games. But here's the thing. It is designed from the ground up to be the competitive VR shooter. And they haven't gone for like a milsim type experience in any way, shape, or form. But they have really gone to town on the weapons and the collisions. So, for instance, they've been showing on TikTok recently what they've been working on when it comes to the AK. Now, every shooter game will likely have an AK of some description, and I don't know if you guys can name this, but what is the most what is the most iconic thing about the AK? It is, in my opinion at least, obviously it looks very iconic, but underneath there is this little latch where the magazine sits into the gun. And if you've ever watched people do like the cool sort of reload, they'll use another magazine to knock that latch, which releases the magazine, and it sort of like levers out of the gun, and then you can plop your magazine straight back in. And that's pretty cool. Nearly every single game has the look of it, but doesn't have the mechanics quite right. Whether or not, if you grab it, your thumb might look like it's actually doing something, but generally speaking, they don't look right. In this game, you can actually hold a magazine, knock the other one out, and insert it. Simple things like that. The collisions that they have when it comes to walls, ceilings, because obviously a shooting game is not great if the recoil of the weapons isn't done correctly. There has to be a recoil pattern to all of these different types of games in order to make it competitive, because you don't just want everybody, like, you don't want to be a cheater on Warzone, for instance, where there is no recoil, because where's the challenge in it? But on this game, they've made it so that you can even use the environment to reduce recoil. Like there's no like fixing it to the environment, but if you actually place it on and hold it down onto the environment, the collision physics will actually allow you to reduce the recoil because you're physically putting the gun onto a solid surface. And that's pretty damn awesome.
Sounds good.
The loadouts are getting massive now. Like we've got an M4, we've got an AK, we've got a UMP, we've got an MP5, we've got a Scar H.
My favourite.
Oh yeah, no, you'll be happy. They've got the Scar H with the extended barrel to use more in a sniping capacity as well, which is pretty nice. They've only got 2 pistols from what I've seen at the moment. They've got a silenced I can't remember, is it silenced Cobra? And something that looks more along the lines of like the Walther. But they both work very nicely. the reason why this game is going to be more competitive.
I'm so
Calm
sad.
down. The reason why this game is going to work really well competitively is that everything is designed from the ground up to be that. For instance, there's not going to be any height glitching because no matter what calibration you set your height to, everybody's heads are at the same height, which means that there's no advantage or disadvantage to being too tall for the environment, too short for the environment. And one thing I just want to go over just quickly is the way they're doing the accessories. So you've got your primary, you've got your secondary, but then of course you have to have some form of grenades. And they've gone a more futuristic route with that. They've gone with the 3 standard grenades that you could ever want, which are your fragmentation grenades, your flash grenades, and your smoke grenades. Great. The way these actually sit is they're sort of a digital item on your forearm, which you sort of grab and then throw. There's no pulling pins or anything because that's a bit slow in VR in my opinion. So you have one on each arm, whatever you want. The frag is a frag, the flash is a flash. The smoke is something they're doing very differently. They're actually going more along the lines of the Valorant smoke.
It's like a ball, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the solid ball of it, which I think's really interesting. They're putting in the standard game mode, so you've got deathmatch, team deathmatch, sort of capture the flag type mechanics, and they've got the bomb mode, which in this is called Artifact, and they've done some really cool stuff with that. So this, in my opinion, they are pushing as hard as possible to become the dominant competitive VR shooter, and I genuinely can see them doing it.
Okay, so what's this thing that Mike from VRO talked about with the NFTs? Because that's the one thing he wasn't happy about.
Yep, so there are the company, this is on the Discord, they do have a part of the Discord that is to do with NFTs, and I think you're going to be able to utilize NFT skins within the game.
Okay.
If you care about having like NFT skins, then great, this is definitely the game for you. If you don't care about having NFT skins and you just want to play a solid, well-made game, then you'll still like this game. You just won't necessarily, be that into spending £1,000 on a gun skin. I don't know if that's how much they are. I'm just giving an example.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. If you've got access to PCR VR right now, go to their server, request beta access because they're now in beta as of the 1st of July, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, so far there haven't been many people playing, but I would love to get a Rekin Krew server going so that we can all jump on.
Yeah.
And at the moment they have said specifically, if you go and ask for a beta key and you get the beta key, you will have access for life. Like there's no rebuying it later on. This isn't just a beta code. This is a full version of the game.
Yeah. I may have misunderstood this, but I thought when the game releases that it's going to be free to play.
As far as I'm aware, it's not, but I don't know that for certain.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So yeah, but we can clear that up in the podcast in 2 weeks' time because I'm getting access to that frigging game.
I don't know if you. So I'm not certain, but I think Techmanju actually works as part of the dev team for this game.
Okay.
And if you look at their office, it's pretty sick, if I'm really honest.
Question is it better than Mo Beast's gaming room? Because that is fucking incredible. Did you see the video he did?
Yeah, no, I did. I am exceedingly jealous.
Oh wow, he's like and he must have the coolest sister in the world as well, because he's like, oh, and this is my figurine and my sister bought me this because she knows I like that, and this is like my mum bought me this and my sister bought me that because she knows. I was like sitting there going, why haven't I got a sister like that? She's like, VR, what's that? And like, fuck. Anyway,
yeah,
Mo Beast, if you're watching,
jealousy aside.
Very jealous.
But yeah, no, their dev studio looks amazing. It's all very white and glass and all of the gadgets.
Hold on a second. Paradise has just said he's DM'd me about the. Right. Okay.
Oh, length per episode. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look. Okay, so we've talked about Veil. I'm just going to briefly talk about something I want to talk about, and then we can move on and I'll have a quick read of that article that Paradise sent me. So, if you haven't played it, Phantom Covert Ops on PC VR and Quest 2, and the Quest 2 version is just as good as the PC VR version. Doesn't look as pretty, but you kind of expect that. Dreams, who the devs of Phantom Covert Ops, they're working on about 3 or 4 AAA games at the moment, and they've categorically stated that they are not working on a sequel to Phantom Covert Ops, but it's not dead. It's not been said that they're not going to do a sequel. It's just they are not working on it right now, and I'm really upset about that because Phantom Covert Ops is one of my favourite games from, I think it was 2020. I did a lot of videos on it when I first started, so I think it'll be 2020. So it'll be about sort of June, July, August 2020, because that's when my channel started to take off. I did a lot of videos on Phantom Covert Ops. If you haven't had a chance to play it, it'll probably be quite heavily discounted on the Quest Store or on Steam. Oh no, sorry, maybe on Oculus. I'm not sure. If you haven't had a chance to play Phantom Covert Ops, it's like a stealth canoe 'em up. That's the only way I can describe it. You are in a canoe, and you never get out of the canoe, and you have a sniper rifle, and you have like an MP5 or an AK. But the whole idea of the game is you stealth your way through, and you can blast your way through. I have actually done that, and there's like extra VIP targets to take out. There's like collectibles. You had me at collectible. It's like little collectible crocodiles. There's like audio files. And one of the really cool things was when you first come across the sort of main protagonist in the game, he stood behind a bulletproof piece of glass, and he's doing this big sort of, we will go to here and we will kill all of these people. I don't know what happened to my accent there. He was supposed to be Russian. He turned into some sort of weird Bulgarian fella. And you're supposed to sit... a bit
Slav in there.
Yeah, you're supposed to sit there in your canoe, and obviously it's like a cutscene. And I thought, the first time I played, I thought, I'll listen to him. And it's David Hayter, the guy who did Solid Snake. So it's like quality. It's like quality voice acting. And the second time I played through, I was like, got my sniper rifle, lined him up, shot the glass, and it was bulletproof. And he stops his monologue, and he says, I thought you would be here. I thought you would. And it's like, I was like, oh, wow, they actually, when you take that shot, they changed the game. And from then on as well, the guards are more alert. And I was like, that's really clever. And it's such a good game. It's graphically, on PC, it's really good. On Quest, it's a little bit more muddy, but still quality. So they're not working on a sequel. Bugger. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Hey, Gamer Ducky, how's it going, my man? Yeah, so that was pretty much all of the games that we've got coming out this month, and Mac's quick update on the Phantom Covert Ops. So
we're going to move on to the big thing.
Yeah, so this is a two-part topic. First of all, we want to talk about something that directly affects us.
Yes.
And it'll affect a few of you in here. We've got a few people in here like PD, like Surge, like MoBeast, like Fun with the Clicks, VR Realm.
VC, Virtual Reality Check.
Yeah, so like there are plenty of you guys in here that this is that will understand what we're trying to say, or maybe you're not there yet and you will find this eventually, and this might be a bit of useful information for you.
Yeah, so it's a two-parter. It's the treadmill, and then it's what happens after the treadmill. Yeah. So first of all, you were a couple of, like a month or so ago, you weren't very well, and then you had Download Festival. So you were quite ill for a week. You missed the podcast. I had to get Surjical on. Just a poor substitute. His beard was not as magnificent. That's all I can say about Surge.
No, there was a distinct lack of beard in the pod. There was a distinct lack of hair in general.
Yes, it fucking was. Because we're both baldies. Right, so you were ill for a week, and then you went to Download. And you'd said to me, when you go to Download, you basically switch your phone off, and you are in that festival mode. So, what happened to you?
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to explain. The idea is I was away at Download for what is essentially 6 days. So, drinking, partying, listening to music, spending time with friends, trying to be in the atmosphere. And I knew for certain that I was not going to do any socialing online at all. I had no plan to. But I did have a plan to release a video on the Friday while I was there and just have it scheduled to release. Because I was ill the previous week, there was no way of me making this, to the point where I still didn't actually have my voice back until the Saturday that I was at the festival. Like, I'd been there for 3 days, and I still didn't have a voice.
Yeah, you were so ill. You were so ill. You were like, I can't do the podcast. It's like, fuck me.
Yeah, no, I couldn't speak. I had torn muscles. I not to go too grab. I was vomiting so hard that I tore muscles in my chest. Like it was that bad. Like I could barely carry stuff when we were going into the festival. It was pretty nasty. But the thing is, that means that I did 2 solid weeks where I uploaded literally nothing.
Yeah.
Now that shouldn't matter.
No, it shouldn't.
But YouTube, Big Daddy YouTube, he sees that and he goes, "Oh, you haven't been doing your job, have you? You haven't been making me money.
You stepped off the
treadmill."
treadmill.
Don't worry, dog. I'm not angry, dog.
Oh, my dog.
Sorry, she thought I was angry.
My dog.
Just left.
Yeah, my dog does exactly the same. I'm sitting there typing away, and I go, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And the dog gets up.
She just stuck out around the back of me.
We're not angry. We are angry, but we're not angry.
But yeah, Daddy YouTube, he was angry.
Daddy
he
YouTube
came
was very
down
angry.
and he slapped me on the arse and he said, "Get back to work." And I was just like, "What incentive are you going to give me to get back to work?" And he was like, "Well, we don't really do incentives here. What we actually do is we have negative reinforcement, which is that we whip your channel and remove all your views." And then you have to work for us until they come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is what we call the treadmill.
The treadmill. So, for my example, I was not ill. My wife had booked a week in the Yorkshire Dales, my favourite place in the whole world. We go there. Well, I'm a walker. I do a lot of walking. Take the dog. Me and the missus just get a map and we just go. You know, we don't really have a plan. We'll do that route and we'll see what's going on. And we get there and we go, "Oh, should we go over there? Look, that looks interesting. We just go over there." So we do these like huge walks. Usually involves a pub at the end, obviously. So we booked a week in a place called Emsey, which is right in the middle of Wharfdale, Swaledale. So from where we were, the village we were in, there was like, you could go on the Emsey steam rail to Bolton Abbey. You could walk up to Marsden Bridge, which is an old medieval bridge. There were 2 massive crags overlooking our cottage. Crooks Ride Crag, over the moors to Emsey Crag, and then back down to the pub, obviously. So this was planned. So I thought, right, I've got a plan. I did the Virtually News Network on the Monday. I did World of Mechs had just released, so I did a big sort of mech build guide because I had quite a lot of experience because I'd been involved in the alpha. And then I did 6 videos to release while I was away of just gameplay of World of Mechs, the Ace Pilot program. I'm in the Ace Pilot program at World of Mechs. And I thought, yeah, that's great. The mech video comes out on Thursday, and then I've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I've got 6 videos coming out. That's fine. I'm still on holiday until Sunday. After that are done. And then on Monday, which is today, I'll be back. My channel it stopped dead because not many people watch the World of Mechs gameplay videos, and you can physically see the downturn in 10 days on my channel. And you
weren't doing your usual stuff.
Because I wasn't doing my usual stuff. I had, it wasn't my usual in-depth stuff. It was just gameplay videos. And I thought, while I'm away, that will keep my channel ticking over. Nah, absolutely not. Because it was out of my usual range of what I do.
There's definitely something to be said for what you need to do on YouTube. And it took me way, way too long to not know it, but understand it and live it.
Yeah.
Is you need to stay in a very specific lane. Now, I am on the broader spectrum of that lane. Like PowerOnVR, I tote myself as a VR news reviews and how-tos place. I try and do a lot more sort of news and how-tos these days and less of the reviews. But that's mainly because I'm not part of the Oculus program and things like this. And so, although people might be interested in my opinion, they're probably more interested in people like BMF's opinion, Mike from VRO, Nathy. There are several other people like Beardo Benjo, PD, people like these that they have a much greater influence on the actual gaming side of that. And so I tend to lean more towards news and how-tos.
Yeah.
Same with Mac. He does all of the same sort of stuff, as well as doing a lot more of the streaming, and you sort of delve more into the sort of ProTube stuff and the Half-Life stuff. Like I think you're becoming quite well known for your sort of Half-Life mod streams and things like that. And so as soon as you go outside of that, like I did recently with the John Wick video that I made, which I didn't make for views.
So that is a great video, and you did it for exactly the right reasons, and you used your friend's music to pay tribute to him. So how did that video do?
Oh, that video bombed. I think it had. I don't know how many video. Hang on, I'm just actually going to find it and see what the views are. So that video.
While you're looking for that, I'm going to tell you what I watched that video, and your video was exactly the same as the one that I made. It was quality, it was good action, the music was really good. Like my video didn't do particularly well. I think it did like 1,000 views for the specific Gunman Contracts 2 level.
Yep.
Did about 1,000 views. If a video I do gets over 1,000 views, I'm kind of happy. And I was watching yours and I was thinking, oh, that's much better than mine. And do you know, like when you want to sort of get hold of a video and say, fucking watch this video for fuck's sake, because it's good.
The thing is, you are right. I made it for the right reasons. My friend early in the year was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. So actually, let's lean on that just for a second, because let's face it, I don't know about your viewers, Mac, but mine certainly are 89% are male.
Yeah. And of a certain age.
Check your damn balls.
18
to seriously.
18 to 35. Yeah. Check your testicles, mate.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, just to really hit this home, okay? My friend was diagnosed with cancer. After he had a bit of a pain in one of his testicles, he went to the doctor. They said, okay, probably nothing too bad, but we'll still get you looked at. How did it work? when they found it, they scanned him. They said, right, okay, you have cancer. You have testicular cancer. We are going to get you into surgery in 72 hours. Not only was he told by the doctor that if he'd have left it even 2 weeks, his survival rating would have gone down from 85% to 20%.
Fuck me.
2 weeks. That's all it took, right? Would have literally put him down to a 1/5 chance of surviving. Those 72 hours, it metastasized.
Oh, Jesus.
So whereas he had literally surgery, snip one ball off, done. Donezo. Nice and simple. If they'd have done it there and then, nice and simple. Instead, he's been in chemo for the last 6 months. So yeah, just to really hit that home, because it's now hit home for me that this is something I need to start doing, and it's something that all of you guys should be doing. Like most of you are probably going to be in your maybe the 25 to 60 bracket, or 100 for Weeble's case. It's
Weeble has no Weeble's testicles actually hang down to his knees.
they're a weapon.
Sorry, we're talking about Weeble's fucking testicles.
Yeah, no, go and check them. Go and check your balls, guys. Learn about it. Do something about it. Don't be a dude about going to the doctors. It's just not worth it.
When you stood in front of the mirror and you're holding your balls, and your wife or girlfriend comes in, you can say, "I'm being healthy."
Exactly.
If you have a hard on, it might be a bit more difficult to just sort of explain away. But anyway, check your balls.
Yeah. So anyway, because of that, he is also a musician, and I had some of his music for a while, and I was like, you know what? I really wanted to make a video like this, and I was really late to the game with making this Half-Life mod video. But I was just like, do you know what? His music would be awesome for that. So yeah, made a video, tried to edit it in a way that felt really nice and flow with the music. But as you say, this video bombed.
Yeah.
My video had 219 views. Fine. I didn't make it for anybody apart from him.
Yeah.
Would I have liked it to have hit 10k views? Of course I would have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course that's what you want. But it was made for the right reasons, and it just so happened to be outside of my channel's normal scope, and so the algorithm didn't push me into people's feeds.
Yeah. And there we go. So, how do you feel right now about YouTube?
I'm going to change the question slightly.
Okay.
And it's not how I feel about YouTube. It is currently how I feel about creation and social media marketing as a whole. Like, because as a creator, you have to have that package.
Yeah.
Like, you can just make stuff on YouTube, and some people will do really well with it. Some people will do, 100k views on a video. They've never done anything apart from post it on YouTube. That is not the case for 99.9% of creators. You have to work Facebook, you have to work Instagram, you have to work TikTok. You have to be doing all of these different things. Oh, and Twitter, obviously, like possibly the most important one, I would say. Bloody fly, go away. So it's not just about that, but what I am feeling right now, I am burnt out.
Yeah.
I'm burnt out from the creation process.
Yeah. So this, I'm going to talk about your channel. So I met you, and you weren't even monetized. You were less than 1,000 subs.
I think when I met you, I was at about 500.
Yeah.
When we started talking more, I was probably about 700-800.
Okay. So I'm going to tell this famous story again, and it was, I was just about to hit 1,000 subscribers, and there was a guy who I was talking to on Twitter, and like you said, Twitter is actually, it's a great tool for content creators because you can directly reach out to people who have games and hardware that you're interested in. Anyway, I was in a conversation with this guy. He's a lot younger than me, but his channel was bigger than mine. Like, quite a lot bigger at the time. And we were having a bit crack, and we were like, I made a video, he'd commented on it, I commented on his video, we were like having a bit of a conversation. And I said, oh, we should do a collaboration. And he flat turned around to me and said, no, your channel's not big enough. And I was so disappointed. I kind of thought, it's not a fucking competition. You know, we either have something or we don't. So when I think we met on Population 1 and we started chatting, and then we met through Discord, and it all kind of, that's the way it worked. And then we suggested mutually a collaboration. But to me, it didn't matter what the size of your channel was. The more important thing to me was the word, you know the word I'm looking for.
Chemistry?
There you go. Chemistry.
Yeah.
My fucking brain. I wasn't interested in the size of your channel. I was more interested in you. I was more interested in what I thought your potential was. And after, because and I admitted it afterwards, it was an interview. And you were like, oh, I'm being interviewed. But it was like 2.5 hours and we never stopped talking. And I was like, yeah, he's the guy.
There was probably like 20 seconds at the beginning of the call where it was like, hey,
how you doing?
And then it was 2.5 hours of solid, no stop stuff. And then both of us were obviously exhausted and not drunk enough.
and you know, and to me, I didn't care how big your channel was. I just knew, right, that's the guy. You know, he's the guy I'm going to do the collab with. We're going to do a podcast. It took... because we are not organisers. Let's just put this out there right now. Neither of us are organisers. What we need is your wife to organise our...
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. We need to we need to both get big enough to start paying her to organise our channels for us.
Power on, show everybody your planner.
Oh, God.
Come on, do it! Do it, come on!
I didn't buy this. Right, this is my planner. This is my Lilo and Stitch.
I fucking love that.
Right,
I fucking love.
Because I couldn't organise anything, and my wife bought it for me. She was like, "Right, you've now got Monday to Friday, Saturday, and you've got a whole list."
So, Shoeey's only just shown me this today, and my reaction was, "Did you get fucking crayons with that?"
I actually think it came with like a little set. Like a rubber and a ruler and stuff, which I don't know where they are, which means my kids have probably stolen them.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. That to me that's what I wanted. I don't think it would have happened with the other guy because he was quite a young guy. He was American. I'm not going to mention his name, but I'm not that far behind him now. And the day I overtake him is going to be glorious. I'm not a vindictive person. I just think you should take people at their own merit. You don't look at somebody's channel and go, oh, you're smaller than me, I don't want to get involved in you. You should look at the person whose channel it is, and you should say, you know, it's like, I'll use MoBeast as an example. Like MoBeast, I can't remember how we met. I think I might have been playing World of Mechs or something like that. And, you know, his channel is, you know, he's just starting. But his setup's awesome. And he's a nice looking guy and he has got a great voice. So if MoBeast wants to come on the podcast, I'm quite happy. I don't give a shit. Oh,
yeah, no, me and Mac have been speaking on and off for like probably months now.
Yeah.
About how we want to get some more people on, have more people come and chat, have some different opinions. You guys know that, like, me and Mac, we agree on 85, I reckon 85% of the time we agree. And we are very vocal, although very diplomatic when we do, about when we have a disagreement.
Yeah, we do.
Like, we've had them in the past, and those debates last for fucking ages. But that's what makes is having different opinions is what makes good content for stuff like this. So what if you guys are interested, let us know.
Yeah, we want Surjical on, we want Paradise on, we want MoBeast on, we want Clickster on, we want Henry on, we want Virtual Reality Check on, we want VR Realm on, we want all the people in the chat. We want you to come on the podcast, because I think if there was 3 of us, if there was 4 of us, I think the debate would be great. So because we all are different. I mean, I'm obviously a lot older than everybody, apart from Weeble, who's ancient, and his testicles actually come down to his knees. I'm the oldest guy. Sorry, Weeps. We haven't a go. That's twice we've had a go at Weeble's testicles. Not even him, but his testicles. Yeah. So my opinions. I mean, I started gaming in the 70s. Like Shoeey, like 90s, I think.
Yeah, probably mid-90s.
Mo Beast. Mo Beast is a fetus. He's like 19 or something, isn't he?
Oh, God, people that weren't born before the
I know.
turn of the millennium. That's just.
But
that's icky.
I want his opinion. I want Surjical's opinion. I want Paradise's opinion. No, it's just get everybody on. Get everybody on. So we're going to open it up. If you're interested in being involved in the podcast, get on the Discord, mine or Shoeey's, and just DM us. We'll get you on.
Probably best you go to Max at the moment. As I was saying earlier, I am at the point now where it's not going to last forever. In fact, I possibly need to take a break and just go back to playing games. Because honestly, I rarely play games. I know I said earlier that I played Lone Echo. I played it for maybe 2.5 hours, and that's the longest time that I've spent VR gaming in a while, which is part of the other reason why I don't do a lot of VR reviews, because I just don't have time.
Yeah.
I'm popping out these videos of stuff that I have researched, that I have looked at, like whether they're the news stories or whether they're the top 10s and things. These are games that I have played previously and I have re-looked into, but it's not like I'm able to play them for 10 hours or things. It's that I'm checking them out for maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I need to get back to playing with you guys specifically on games like Population 1, on
After
Onwards,
the Fall.
After the Fall, like anything like that, I'm more than happy to play with. So yeah, my Discord at the moment is pretty much dead, and it's partly because I haven't been giving it the love that it deserves.
Sorry, Mo Beast just pointed out he's 29. I thought you were a teenager. Sorry.
Oh, I feel less like a Catholic priest.
Sorry, Mo Beast. I thought you were a teenager. When I saw that video you put out yesterday or today, I thought you looked like a teenager. You look very well for your age, whereas I don't. But there you go. So burnout. I'm going to talk about something which is quite personal to me, and it's probably a difficult subject to talk about. And that's, I was a firefighter for 20 odd years, and I suffer from PTSD from a variety of incidents that happened to me. There was a few occasions where we rescued people from situations and they didn't survive. There's 10 times more people who did survive, so I don't know why I dwell on the ones who didn't, but that's what triggers my PTSD, because I always think I could have, if I'd have done that, he would have survived. If I'd have done that, would she have survived? If I'd have maybe been a bit quicker doing this, would she have survived? So, like, PTSD and burnout on YouTube are actually quite related, because when you're on YouTube, you look constantly, it's like a sort of social media thing. You're looking on your phone, you're looking at your likes, you're looking at your followers, you're looking at the comments, you're looking at the views. And if they drop, it's like a rejection. And you, as a human being, you can't not take that personally. So my 10 days away in the lakes, in the Dales, and I put content out during that time, but nobody watched it. And I was like, I don't understand why. On my channel, you can actually see the Friday that I go on holiday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it just drops. And it's almost personal. And we have talked about this before. You don't go on YouTube if you're not a massive eco. These people who are trying to be famous, you look at them and you think, oh, why are you trying to be famous? But we're trying to do the same thing. You want your channel to grow. You want to be well known. I'm not doing this to be famous. I'm doing this because I enjoy what I do. But there's a certain point where it's like, point where it's like, oh, I didn't get enough likes on that. I didn't get enough views on that. I didn't get, and you think, well, and it kind of niggles at you. And so I understand what you're saying about the burnout thing, because, you can do like 5 or 6 videos and they tank, and you just go, why the fuck am I doing this? And then you'll get one that'll go, and you'll be like, yes.
Yeah, it's like that high of gambling. It's you can lose and you can lose and you can lose. And let's say you've lost 40 quid, but then you get that £5 win, and that's what keeps you going. Is the £5 win, despite the fact that you're still 35 quid down. I had an interesting situation about 2 months ago, and it was partly leading up to, not even that, it's probably 6 weeks ago, and it was kind of leading up to when I started to feel burnt out.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? I hyperfixate on a lot of things, and it's what drives me. I've spoken to you about it before.
You have, yeah. When you came to visit me, yeah.
Yeah, so my wife was very surprised when I didn't give up the whole YouTube thing after 3 or 4 months, because she thought the fixation would die out and all the thousands of pounds I've spent would, it'll just be another one of those fixations that gets shelved in the garage. Like my Nerf collection, like my yo-yoing obsession, like my Devil Sticks obsession, which I used to compete in, by the way. And yeah, so the interesting thing happened where one day I had 0 subscribers for the day. Yeah. Right? And it was the first time in a while that I'd had 0 subscribers. Like most days, fair enough, I'll have like 4 or 5, whatever. And that's fine. I'm perfectly happy, because that is a slow trend upwards. But this one day I had 0 subscribers. And the reason why it was interesting is when I looked at my analytics, I had actually had subscribers that day. In fact, I'd had 22 subscribers that day. I'd also had 22 subscribers unsubscribe from my channel that day. Yeah. It was the perfect amount, just to make me have a look. Because if I'd had 1 subscriber that day, I wouldn't have looked. Yeah. Right. So if I'd have had 1 more subscriber, I would not have even batted an eyelid. Yeah. But because there was 0, I checked out the analytics, and it turns out that 21 people had unsubscribed from me that day.
Which, to be honest, is probably the YouTube getting rid of like scam accounts.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But that really was just like, holy shit, what have I done to upset you guys enough that you've unsubscribed in that much, in droves. What video was it? It was I think it was just after I put out about the MetaQuest Pro. Oh, it was about the Cambrian news from Zuckerberg.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I was like, why would people unsubscribe because of that? That seems weird.
I'll tell you a story, and it's actually quite funny. I was devastated at the time, but it's actually quite funny. So I was nearly at 10,000 subscribers. So the lovely people at ProTube, who I absolutely adore, and they look after me, and I really don't understand why. They said, "Oh, you're getting close to 10,000 subscribers. We'll do a giveaway." I think it was a force tube. Yeah, it was a force tube. So that's like not an insubstantial piece of kit. So they did this
real bit of money.
It is. Yeah, it's like 200-300 euros. So they did like a full social media, like sort of support Mac. He's nearly at 10,000 subscribers. Join the Gleam iOS. You can win a force tube. And like, I got past 10,000 subs. And I was like, oh, posted on social media, Facebook, Twitter, got the badge from TubeBuddy, posted it on my Twitter account, 10,000 subs. Yeah, it's a real milestone. The next day, because the giveaway had finished, I went straight back to 9,900 subs. Like the next day. So I'd gone 10,000, next day, 9,900. But then 2 days later, I hit 10,000. So I was like, I think I'm the first person to ever do 10,000 subscribers twice in 1 week. Like, as a bit of a joke. But I was devastated, and that actually made me realise that giveaways are a bad thing to do when you're reaching a milestone, because as you get to that milestone, do the giveaway, you get those people who subscribe that just want the giveaway, and then once the giveaway's gone, they just go, fuck you, and unsubscribe.
Yeah, that's what I had when because I was doing a lot of giveaways through TikTok and through YouTube for a while. Mainly gaming, but with some hardware as well. And like the moment you stop doing it, you just see a huge swath of subscribers go. Yeah. And I don't blame them, because the reason they're there is the information that you're putting out, which is that you're giving away free shit. And the moment you stop giving away free shit, of course they're not going to stick around. That doesn't make any sense for them to stick around.
No, it's what was you going to say there? Paradise Decay says the best thing you could do is get one of those subscriber clocks. No, my OCD will not let me get a subscriber clock.
I really want one. I just can't really afford one. Because I've been thinking of having one. Like when I finally sort out my office properly, then I will get one, definitely. In fact, I might just put one beside my bed.
but Paradise is just on 19, so he's close to 20. So, are you thinking about doing a 20,000 subscriber giveaway thing? Because I'd be interested.
If I remember, you did actually put up a road to 20k giveaway video a couple of months ago.
I'd be curious to see, like, if you could keep a count of your subscriber count as the giveaway finishes. I'd be interested to see, because I know, like I said, as soon as the giveaway finished, like my subscribers, it went whoop. I lost like 200 subscribers overnight.
Had a 20k giveaway at 17. Okay. And he does have a giveaway at 20. Cool.
Okay. I'll subscribe. I am already subscribed, obviously. I'm not going to
unsubscribe and resubscribe.
Yeah, I'm not going to unsubscribe, so yeah, okay.
If you get to 19,999, I'm going to unsubscribe so I can be your 20k. Like, that's...
Let's all do that. As soon as he gets to 19,999, let's all unsubscribe just to dip, and then let's all resubscribe so he goes straight back.
Give a nice big peak.
Oh, we're not that cruel, Paradise. We're not that cruel. Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah. So, right. Anyway, that was... I mean, there's a lot of serious stuff that we covered there. Yeah. Whether it be cancer, whether it be treadmill, whether it be burnout. Hopefully, some of it was useful to you. Hopefully, those of you who... I think I've just got you a new sub, PD. I think Fun with the Clicks wasn't actually subscribed. So hopefully, I think Fun with the Clicks is going to go and subscribe, and if he doesn't, I'm gonna whip him into shape.
19,001.
No more buffs for you in Demio if you don't go and subscribe to PD Clicks. But
before we finish, I would like to point out that there are some, I mean, like friends of mine, Beardo Benjo, Gamertag VR. Gamertag VR just packed in his job to go full-time on YouTube. I was quite lucky that I retired, so I have a pension. So I've got like a financial backup. But like Gamertag just went, fuck it, I'm going for it.
No, he didn't. Yeah, he's not full-time on YouTube. He's working as the community manager.
Yeah. But
is it Enreal?
He packed his job in to go and do VR full-time.
Which is huge and amazing.
Huge. And I'm really pleased for him. I hope he does really well. He's ginormous. Have you seen the size of the bugger? When he was getting interviewed by the guy from...
He's a buff bastard, isn't he?
Big bugger. Anyway, so Beardo Benjo has also spoken about this, the VR treadmill. And...
Travel, that was the one.
Cash and Carry. Two of my favourite Dutch people, apart from our little flag-waving Crash. She actually tweeted about this, and she was like, I'm on holiday, and I'm on holiday currently, and I'm more worried about my channel. And I think there was a few comments from Beardo, Gamertag, Mike from VRO, And I was basically on holiday exactly the same time. So I just posted a picture of me and my wife sat on top of Emsey Crag and just said, you just need to get away sometimes. And she actually did. We had a little bit of back and forth on Twitter. So like a big I mean, I think like anybody over 100,000 is a big YouTuber. And Cass and Charry, I think, they're on the way to 200,000. So they're big YouTubers, and they're still worried about the algorithm. Still at that point worried about the algorithm. And you would think that somebody who's done that well and is that established wouldn't be that concerned, but clearly they are. You know, she's concerned that going on holiday for a week is going to affect her channel. And when I say her channel, it's obviously it's a financial impact. Yeah, it's a financial impact. And if that is your job, I'm assuming it is, then
this is the thing: is I don't know, right? Even if I got to like the magic 50k, 100k, and I was bringing in the same amount that I am now, right? If I was bringing in the same amount of money from YouTube and other sources that I am currently in my current job, which is not insubstantial, what I bring in, I still don't know if I'd be able to give up my job, because I'd be worried about the financial burden that places on me for my children and my wife. Yeah. So I've got a lot of respect for people who have got the balls to do it.
I'm in a very... I'm going to give you a quote here. My mother once said to me, "You're the luckiest bastard." This is a genuine quote from my mother. Bless her soul, she's not with us anymore. My mother once turned around to me and said, "You're the luckiest bastard I've ever come across. If you fell in a pile of shit, you've come up clutching a diamond." She actually said that to me, right? She was Scottish. She was a little bit more blunt than most people would be. And I actually think it's not luck. It's making the right decision at the right time. So with me, I was at a point in the fire brigade where I was 55 and I could retire, and my pension and my lump sum meant that I would be in a position that I could retire and live, not well, but, you know, I could get by. And if my YouTube channel does okay, the more my YouTube channel does okay, the better off I will be. Which is where the stress comes from. Because when you go on holiday for a week and your income drops, you're like, fuck. Should I not go on holiday for the next 2 or 3 years until my channel is at 100,000? But then you got Cass and Charry, who are over 100,000 subscribers, probably even higher than that.
148.
148. And she's worrying about her channel and her income. Because in the end, it's all about income, isn't it? You know, if you're a rich kid who doesn't really care, then, you know, you're probably in the wrong job. But if you love VR and you want your channel to do well, it is tied into income. It is. And if you get off that treadmill for 10 days like I did, and you see that, wow. And that's not talking about burnout. That's talking about pure income.
Yep.
So.
But off the serious stuff, we have one more subject just briefly to go over before we come to the end, because we're 2 hours in.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah, we're 9:30. Yep. This is what we're talking about. That interview we had 2.5 hours, and this is what happens when me and Matt get talking.
That's got so quick.
So, yeah, the last thing... Hey, Crash, bit late. Yeah, you are a bit late. How dare you?
So, Crash!
Yeah,
Crash! He's not watching me, he's watching you!
Yeah. I imagine he's just loading up your YouTube now. See, just so before we move on then, I just want to address this with clicks. He said, "I try to do 2 to 3 videos a week and I get worried that's not enough." I agree with you. That is what I did 6 to 8 months ago. If it works for you, that is more than enough, buddy. I am now doing 1 video and maybe a side piece each week, and that is more than enough for me. Whether that's enough for you is a different matter. But yeah, don't go for the quality over quantity, buddy. Your videos are quality, but if you feel like you could make more quality videos by cutting out one of those other videos per week, my advice is do that.
Yeah. Paradise Decay says GT is at fast travel.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I knew I was wrong when I said Unreal.
I think
anyway, so yeah,
talk about Phantom Covert Ops. So, that's End Dreams. Oh my God,
that's End Dreams. Yeah, there's too many similar names. So you wanted to speak about a game that I haven't even seen, as the last subject for the night, which is a lo-fi spin-off.
Yeah. Right. So, Lo-Fi has been on PC VR in early access for about 3 years now. It's weird because it looks really good, but there's no alpha. You have to go through like a sort of Kickstarter where you buy into the game for $40. I keep nearly pulling the trigger on it because it looks really good. It's like a kind of Blade Runner-esque sort of, you play a cop in a sort of dystopian sci-fi future. Graphically looks amazing. I've nearly pulled the trigger a few times. We've had a bit of a discussion that the guy who's doing the development is a bit of a dick because he doesn't like people. And he's like saying, content creators, stop bothering me. We're like, this is how your game gets sales, but that's a different issue. He's announced that there is going to be a lo-fi spin-off called Agency on Quest 2, and it's being handled by a completely different company. I did actually get the right, so the development of this lo-fi spin-off has been done by one person called Andre Elijah and his studio. So it's not just one person. It's Andre Elijah and his studio. So I'm quite excited about that because lo-fi looks really good. I've nearly pulled the trigger so many times. It looks so good. It's like a sort of Blade Runner detective investigation. You can investigate murders, or you can just not investigate murders. You can just fly around the city. It's like very open world. It looks really good. They bring that to Quest and they keep that quality that I think lo-fi has. That's going to be an interesting game. I'm probably thinking it's a year away because they've only just kind of announced it. But if they use the lo-fi assets, all they have to do is basically port them to Quest and maybe downgrade the graphical quality. So they've got the whole game right there, and they can just sort of pick and choose what they want to do. So hopefully development will be a little bit quicker.
If it looks as good as what was that game that came out? That was kind of like Spider-Man, but more sort of sci-fi. You had these like it was kind of like Spider-Man meets Swarm. You're going around a city. Oh, this is really going to bother me. Resist.
Oh yeah.
If it looks as good as Resist, because realistically that is you can't really go much above that with the Quest 2 in its current state.
Yeah.
Graphically, so as long as it looks as good as that, because that was clean. It didn't look amazing, but it was clean.
Yeah.
As long as it looks as good as that, then fine. I'll definitely play it.
Yeah. Right. So I think we're at an end.
Okay. Well, Mac, where can we find you if we ever want to look up, apart from obviously your YouTube channel that people are currently watching you on?
You can find me on Twitter at Mac In VR. You can find me on Facebook at Mac In VR. I don't do Instagram or TikTok because I'm old and I don't understand shit like that. I barely understand Twitter.
Yeah.
So, apart from your YouTube channel, you can be found on TikTok.
I can. You'll notice that partly you like my YouTube channel is suffering a little bit because of the burnout, but my TikTok has suffered entirely because I've basically been doing no uploads for weeks now. because YouTube's my baby, and TikTok was a side thing that happened to work really well. So yeah, you can find me on TikTok, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook. I think Facebook's the only one where you can't find me at PowerOnVR. I think it was like Power On Space VR, because apparently PowerOnVR isn't a real word, and Facebook doesn't like it if you don't use real words.
There's a lot of things Facebook doesn't like the fact if you're
like
a 40-year-old man and you're actually, they say to you, oh, you're underage, which has happened to a friend of mine called Skillex, who we probably will be getting onto the podcast to talk about it, because Skillex, his job is to manage social media for other companies, and he's been banned from his Facebook account, and that's his job. So that is quite a serious thing. Yeah. So we need to talk to Skillex, because obviously his experience is going to be mirroring mine, but in a more hugely financial way, because that was his job, or is his job. Hopefully it's still his job. We're going to get on to Skillex, so we'll try and get him on the show.
Yeah, as we said, guys, if you're interested in being in coming and chatting with us, and you have some opinions, and you don't have to drink. Drinking helps, but you don't have to drink.
Mo Beast isn't old enough to drink.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you like Mo Beast and you're not old enough to drink, I assume he's American. In which case, 21 drinking age, and we would never condone such a heinous act of drinking live on air.
Sorry, Mo Beast. We know you're 29. We know you're 20. You just look like a child.
But yeah, other than that, it's been a good night, guys. I've enjoyed it. We've done some happy things. We've done some serious things.
Yeah.
If I can leave you with one thing, I'm going to reiterate. Check your bowls.
Check your bowls, people. And get off the YouTube treadmill every once in a while and have a week off. My batteries are recharged. I feel great. My channel's gone to fucking shit, but
only stuff. It's only financial stuff.
It's only financial stuff. Right, so he's been Shoeey from PowerOnVR.
He's been Mac In VR.
Good night.
Good night, people.
It's been good fun.